The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history.
In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing.
The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We'd get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As we see something that I've been discussing in the XRP army for over 3 years come to the forefront. This is the beginning of the end for Tether. And don't say I didn't warn you. Coinbase takes shots at Tether and is encouraging users to switch to USDC. I've told every single one of you that Tether is a racket and that USDC should be your stable coin of choice. That does not mean you can't use Tether trading pairs. Tether trading pairs are vibrant, offer a lot of liquidity, and there are a lot of trading pairs that exist when it comes about going in and out of different cryptos. But the issue is, if you are holding on to Tether, as far as protection is concerned for your capital, you're going to end up facing a UST situation. I promise you, Tether will fall, and when it does, you're going to wish you were in a safe haven. Don't take this warning lightly. Protect yourselves now before it's too late. Now, with that being said, we have arguably one of the most bullish things I've ever seen as far as the XRP community is concerned. Jim Cramer is what I like to call arguably the worst investor ever. He is on CNBC all the time, telling investors his opinions and his picks, and quite honestly, he is so bad at making calls that people have created an inverse Jim Cramer ETF that would basically be investing in the opposite of what Mad Money investor Jim Cramer states. I believe the inverse Cramer ETF has outperformed the S&P 500. As hilarious as that is, what you need to understand is he's part of the mainstream. He's there to manipulate you. He's there to cause you to lose money. And the other day, he went on national TV and fudded the hell out of XRP, calling it a con and grouping it in with Solana and Dogecoin. Please take a listen to what he had to say and be very excited at the fact that I believe we're coming towards the end of the XRP FUD as well as the XRP case, and this is a leading indicator for more positive days ahead.
Check in with Jim Cramer. Jim, what would you like to talk about this morning?
Well, I think we have to distinguish between the notion of what blockchain is. No one thinks blockchain is bad. And what happened here, and I thought you guys did an amazing job. I think Kevin O'Leary's caught up in what I would describe as a suboptimal situation. And I think you did your best to get to the bottom of it, but the whole thing seems so bottomless that I don't know how to fathom it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all trying to figure out what happened. I think Kevin's right. It's going to be years that we're hearing about this. Once bankruptcy courts get involved, it's going to be a very long unwinding. I don't know about Bitcoin. I think that one's different than a lot of the other coins, but I think the marks that came with some of these things are enough to leave you scratching your head.
Well, everything you said was true. I mean, at the end, I think that Kevin said that everything you said was true. I mean, the problem is everything everyone says is true about this, except for it's just a giant con. And remember, the con is not, it's not blockchain. Blockchain's great, but we keep conflating blockchain with the con. And I don't know how that can continue. I mean, this thing, all these different prices, like we put up XRP and Solana and Dogecoin. Those are all, I believe, cons.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't we just put up like a bunch of stocks that are valued at the same size? So I'm tired of the con. I thought you guys did a terrific job. And I love I love blockchain, but it has nothing to do with what happened. That's like saying, you know what, I really love the fact that we put up cryptocurrencies. There's nothing to love. Technology's good, but it's, I mean, if we think that the XRP slash USD coin is something that we should be following, well, I mean, we should be following, we should put up like Rent the Runway and Stitch Fix up there. I mean, honestly, let's put
up
up
those CEOs on too, I guess.
I don't know. Let's put up Sienna up there. I don't know. I mean, I just find it's just a random group of things that we put up.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, what I find very interesting is that as we're approaching the final stages of this lawsuit, as Stu Alderati, Ripple's general counsel, stated, we're also seeing that globally, central bank digital currency adoption, acceleration, and trials continue to persist. Nigeria has banned ATM cash withdrawals over $225 a week to force the use of central bank digital currencies, and this is coming to a country near you. The acceleration of a cashless society will equate to the enslavement of humanity. I do not support this, but I'm simply reporting on it. Ladies and gentlemen, we always know that XRP is the chosen digital asset. They'll play a massive role in CBDC adoption. And as a Jim Cramer FUD is accelerating in the mainstream, we have other outlets FUDding XRP at the exact same time. Here is Michael Saylor FUDding XRP yet again on Patrick Bet-David's podcast. And the more FUD I begin to hear about XRP, the more I hear and see Bitcoin Maxi's future tiers. They feel the Ripple and XRP threat coming. And all this signals to me is that the big players in the crypto space are scared.
The Eaton here, the lawyer representing Ripple. What are your thoughts about what's going on with Ripple and how he is handling the Ripple case?
Ripple's an unregistered security. It's pretty obvious. There's a company. The company owns a bunch of it. They sell it to the general public, but they never took the company public. There's no disclosures, right? So the SEC's position is you're selling an unregistered security. It's a crypto token, right? Just like Ethereum is an unregistered security. It's controlled by a few people in the Ethereum Foundation and Consensus.
Fair. Then
just
here's
like
a question.
FTT, just like Solana.
Perfect. But here's a follow-up on that,
They're all
Michael.
unregistered securities.
Here's a follow-up on that.
Right.
I don't own a single Ripple, just so we know. So full disclaimer, I'm not a Ripple guy. But if both of them are unregistered, why target Ripple and not target Ethereum the way he is targeting Ripple? And by the way, this is coming from a guy that owns Ethereum, not Ripple.
Yeah, I think the best thing for the world would be if the SEC pretty much shut down all of it. It's all unethical, right? I mean, the Bitcoin position would be Bitcoin is an ethical commodity. All of these other altcoins are unregistered securities. They're all just equity tokens issued by a company in order to get around going public, and they're committing securities fraud.
Ethereum included.
Of course, especially Ethereum. Ethereum's got $20 billion of ETH token locked up in the staking contract right now, and there's a couple of people that may or may not give it back to you ever. Now, isn't that the definition of investment contract? If a bank took $20 billion of your assets, froze the window and said you can't have your money back ever, maybe in the year 2024, we're not sure. We're just going to keep it. We may actually give you interest on it. We may take it all.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, despite the fact that Michael Saylor's comments are extremely annoying, at least he's principled and consistent. He believes every single crypto outside of Bitcoin is an unregistered security. And if that's his belief, at least, as far as I can tell, he's just principled and grounded in what he thinks about the crypto market. But he's absolutely wrong. XRP is considered a non-security by every single other country on the planet other than the United States. And I think there's an important reason for that I'm about to get into. But first, I have to let all of you know that the TGE is happening January 9th, come hell or high water, as stated by Hugo Fillion, CEO of Flare. The Flare token airdrop is finally happening. And the fact that it's happening the beginning of January after the 2-year anniversary of this SEC lawsuit is no coincidence in my opinion. Delay after delay by the Flair network, and now finally happening the beginning of next year, is very, very beautiful to see. I think the potential for a resolution for this SEC case in that time frame is very possible. Everyone's looking at Q1, Q2 next year for the resolution, but I think it could happen at any given moment. All I ask you to do is to just be prepared for it. And now I'm going to get into why I personally believe Ripple and XRP got sued. I believe Ripple got sued so that the banksters could work and try and make their own XRP alternative. We saw that evidence actually play out over the past 2 years. JP Morgan's been trying. Goldman has been trying. Swift has been trying. But the thing is, they all failed. And the thing is, none of these banksters trust each other. The reason XRP is going to be adopted as a new digital asset to be the foundation and the plumbing for the global financial system is because it is a neutral bridge asset. No central party controls it. And that is what people hate admitting. The technology will run independent of Ripple forever. If Ripple were to go away tomorrow, XRP will still be able to run and the banks could still adopt it if they so choose. And that's what's so important to note. Here, I'm going to play you this final clip. Here, I'm going to play you this clip to cap off this video for today of different circles discussing why they believe that Ripple and XRP got sued. And what's so important for all of you to know is that we've always been the leading technology. We've always had the connections to the high-level institutions and central banks. And while we've been running through quicksand, because regulators and incumbents have felt threatened, now, with Gary under siege, and the whole global financial system under threat, I believe XRP will finally begin its reign. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
And there was another frivolous lawsuit of Ripple Labs by the U.S. government. It's, David, just to slow them down.
They're just kicking the can down the road. They're just slowing the pace. Because
the banksters are not ready. And I'm going to make a bold comment, and it's just in my own vernacular. The banksters are good at fraud and murder. They're not good at software engineering.
Yeah.
Okay. There are lots of precedents. Like Neil Keenan was murdered and replaced. He was all about the old bonds, the gold-backed bonds. They murder people left and right. They actually murdered somebody, a source of mine. They murdered a close friend of his in Europe, and it really shook up my friend. The banksters sued XRP and Ripple Labs in order to buy time, not so much to hold them back as to, well, it's two motives. One, to hold back the development of the Ripple Labs, but it didn't work because they're still working. And the other motive is to buy time in order for the banksters to develop something in a similar manner with the intellectual property so that they can match Ripple and say, we've got our own Ripple. We don't need your Ripple, but they failed. And now they're saying, we need your Ripple. We're going to make a deal with you. We're going to have a timetable. We're going to have a schedule. It's going to be 18 to 24 months. We've got a span of time, and it is our accord. It's proof that the banksters failed in developing a similar system to XRP, and the same thing happened with Reggie Middleton. They failed in developing the building blocks for the digital financial structures that include banks and bond markets and stock market. It's the whole world.